Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm sorry it's been a couple weeks since I've done a video, but I promise I have a really good excuse. I've been out gathering information, and that is a perfect segue into the topic here on this video today. As an INFJ, my cognitive function stack shows that I am an information first kind of person. So last week I attended a seminar, a week-long seminar that had a whole bunch of business leaders from around my city, and they had each about hour-long talks. It might be a panel, might be a presenter, a little bit of Q&A at the end, but the point is I was gathering information for my business that I started last year, and I'm trying to figure out how to monetize it. So I learned a lot last week, so I've been very busy trying to start a business because I frankly don't want to work for anybody else. I'd like to tell myself what to do, and anybody who is a young adult to, I guess, say, along with all of the memes that you might find online, adulting can be really hard, especially because you have to tell yourself what to do. So the topic of this video is information versus decision making. Now, to be a healthy individual, you need to do both. You need to have information and make decisions. And one of the most interesting divides between people are those who do one over the other first. Now, I want to let you know that I have been taking my Thursday night Jungian psychology classes, and we're so far past Myers-Briggs. Because some of the criticisms on Myers-Briggs type indicator is that it is too simplistic, and I definitely will agree with that. There are a lot of things you'll find online that will have the 16 types, but there'll be some fictional character representation of that type, and it's so simplistic. There's so much more to it, and I want to reiterate that. That is the point of this channel, is that I want you to understand that it's not so simple. Myers-Briggs isn't a way to box people in, but it's a way to understand yourself and to understand others. So getting back to the information versus decision making, within the 16 types, half of those types they gather information first. The other half of those types, they make decisions first. Now, neither half of types are wrong. We are just very different. But you might have some conflict between, or some confusion between those halves. Because me as an information gatherer, I really can't understand people who just make a decision without having information. I can't even fathom that. But, it takes all types of people to make the world go round, so who am I to fault that? For example, there are people who are really good in a crisis. I'm not good in a crisis. I can't just jump into action. But I'm also an introvert, so that's another thing that my first impulse is to reflect. Now, I reflect on information, but there are some people who reflect on decisions. For example, an INFP, they have introverted feeling as their first function, and that is a values function. So they will make that decision and be like, well, does that fit with my values? Doesn't it? They'll figure it out right away, and that's their first instinct. They've made a decision. That's fine. That's fine. It takes all kinds of people in this world to make it go round. So, but a further distinction between the half that make decisions and the other half that deal with information, half of those people are extroverts and half of those are introverts. I'm going to use myself for example. My first function is introverted intuition, so I reflect on information. For example, on the other end, you have somebody who, let's say, is an ENFP. Their first function is an extroverted intuition. That means they do deal with information first, but they do it actively. They are actively dealing with that information. Also, maybe, let's see, an ESTP. Those people, they actively deal with sensing information, not abstract like the ENFP with intuition. Both of those types are really good with dealing with it on the fly, basically. I need to step back for a second and kind of assess the room, and then I can jump into it because my second function will be extroverted, and it will be a decision-making function. That makes me a lot more well-rounded. Now, the interesting thing about why MBTI is too simplistic is a lot of it just deals with the first two functions. So you got an information qualification and a decision qualification done. That's why it's not so simplistic. There are 6 other functions. And if you take an intro to Myers-Briggs, you're only going to really get to the conscious part of that. There's another unconscious part of that that really makes our personalities a lot more complex. So, in a nutshell, half of types, they take in information. The other half, they make decisions. And then after they do that, then they switch roles, basically. So I take information in, I make a decision. Some people make a decision, then they take in information. There's neither a right or wrong about it. It just takes all types of people to make this world go round. And I think as long as you find a little bit of awareness about yourself, I think that'll give you more awareness about others, and we can all get along a little bit better. So I hope to have a video a lot sooner than this one as opposed to the last. So please stay with me, and I appreciate you joining me. We'll see you next time.